right, we're here for the third and to discuss the third and final day events of the Space Symposium. The 4-day conference is over at the end of the day today. Dennis, what sort of things did you cover today?
Well, this morning I sat in on a Q&A session with Maxar Technologies CEO Dan Jablonski. You all might know that Maxar Technologies does the satellite imagery, and they have been in the national news very much lately in the past couple of months, obviously because of the Ukraine conflict. And he talked a lot about how they refine their process to make sure that the images not only are delivered timely, but they use artificial intelligence to figure out what's in those pictures, because they get bombarded with imagery, so they have to use artificial intelligence to figure out what's going on with what. So that was a really interesting topic. He also addressed a little bit of how to get rid of some of the space trash. There's thousands of satellites in Earth's low orbit, and how they're trying to be responsible about it by not putting extra parts or pieces that might fly off and go some 10,000 miles an hour in space, and that all their satellites are they're maneuverable, and they've got them encrypted so no bad actors can take that over. So it was a really fascinating discussion this morning. Maxar is based in Westminster. We got about 1,200 employees in Colorado.
Jesse, you want to talk a little bit about the workforce track you covered?
Yeah, so I was over at a couple panel discussions as well as some fireside chats about workforce development. And a lot of those chats and panels revolved around some of the issues that are plaguing kind of the workforce, I guess, in the space industry. And a lot of that has to do with kind of the cannibalization of positions within the industry. So a lot of companies are kind of just taking from each other, and they're looking for ways to actually bring fresh perspectives, new people into the industry. And so a lot of that work kind of today they focused on how they could do that with rebranding. So for example, they talked about one position that was a computer programming position, but they listed it as a video gaming programmer position. And so how they kind of changed the wording on that, and it brought in a ton more interest in that job. And so they're just looking at ways that they can rebrand basically space jobs, and then also getting K through 12 interest. So looking for how they can harvest that passion that students have, and a lot of that really depends upon finding that interest where it's at. And so that's kind of what they worked on today and talked about today at the workforce development track.
It used to be in the old days, somebody would lose a contract and a new company would take it over, and the workers would just get new badges. It doesn't happen anymore, and then nobody wants to give up their employees. Sure. So I covered the climate data panel, in which the head of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration talked about how everybody on Earth is a user of space, because if you use your GPS, or if you get weather alerts, all of that comes from space. So tell me a little bit about your recollections from this year's Space Symposium.
Go ahead, Jesse.
Okay, yeah, I would just say that it was a lot busier. I felt like compared to my first symposium, which was in August and the only other one I've been to, it was just a different atmosphere around COVID as well. So there was, no masking required at the symposium, which I felt was pretty different than the last one, where we were pretty much in the thick of it when it came to COVID. So that was.
Oh my gosh! You see that International Center was just full for so many sessions.
Right.
Just packed with people. It was definitely the biggest conference or convention I've been in the last 3 or 4 years, for sure. So.
Well, I told people it reminded me of being in a concourse at DIA or on the Strip of Las Vegas. Kind of that many people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like I was definitely dodging folks on the sidewalk.
Yeah, so
exactly.
I got a lot of feedback. I asked people what they thought of this year's show that have been here for many shows, and they thought that this was one of the busiest that they've seen, or at least reaching the pre-COVID levels. What they really liked was the layout. The symposium used the new large hall format, and there was just a lot getting around the smaller companies' booths. And exhibit hall was apparently a lot better, and the traffic flow was a lot easier. I gotta say, for us as journalists, I've heard it compared to like being at a Las Vegas buffet, whereas you kind of take more than you can handle, so to speak. So we not only did many stories this week, but our notebooks are just full of other stories and information that we have to get to our readers in coming days.
I'm sure it's an all-you-can-eat buffet, right? All right, going forward, in the next year, we're expecting the big space news will be the location or the decision on the U.S. Space Command that former President Trump decided to move to Huntsville. Congressman Lamborn has requested a Government Accountability Office report on that, and the Department of Defense Inspector General is also doing a report on it. Both are expected later this month. I think it's widely expected that the process will start over once those reports are out. So we'll go through everything we went through in 2019 all over again.
Yeah, another big story that we'll be looking for before next year's Space Symposium is the cooperation between Blue Origin, which is building its presence in South Denver, and Sierra Space in regards to the orbital reef, the business park in space, as it's been described. So I think a year from now, we're going to be looking at a lot of development and momentum towards that project. Sierra Space just Tuesday heard from NASA that they got signed off on their first development review on what they're working on. So that's going to be an exciting project to watch as well.
And one thing that no one has been able to write much about yet is Elon Musk is apparently here, richest man in the world. We believe he's staying at the Broadmoor. He's been up to the Academy today.
Yeah, I saw Richard Branson walking back from the Broadmoor.
That's right.
I tried to say hi. He was kind of busy, though.
Yeah, we're on Billionaire Watch. That's it for today, folks. I look for more of this a year from now when the 38th Space Symposium will kick off.